All right, welcome to our 10th podcast. We are here again with Bernard Piprah, and he was here about a year ago, I think, so this year has flown by. So kind of just talking about, again, getting to the Christmas season, the holiday, some sort of things that help us kind of get through the holidays, maybe some coping mechanisms for some of us, and then just kind of seeing what's happening on your end, what you're seeing maybe in your neck of the woods, what people are maybe struggling with, and kind of touch on some of that. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Welcome back, Bernard.
Yeah. Well, I think we all think, it's the happiest time of the year for, a lot of folks. And that's what's being pushed on us through social media
Yes.
and, from our childhoods, but we don't recognize some of the challenges some of us are facing during this time of year. I think a very interesting one is isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is commonly one of the biggest factors contributing towards mental health problems with people is, the experiences of isolation and how that differentiates, whether you're a senior, if you're a youth, what does isolation look like? And so I think that's something very interesting. For example, like what do some of you think when you talk about isolation during the Christmas holidays?
I think, to me, it's like not wanting to go to events and stuff because I feel sort of antisocial as well at Christmas holidays. I don't know why, but that for me, I'd rather just kind of stay home and not.
That's something you're choosing, right?
Something to choosing, I guess, but I find it more about around Christmas holidays. I just find less like I don't want to, put on the happy face as much and like, oh, great to see you. You just kind of want to. I'd prefer more just to kind of spend time to myself, but I don't know if that's the. Yeah. There's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
But I guess here a lot of people suffer because they have no family, right?
Yeah.
So they're immigrants, they're by themselves. Now, like in these new buildings, everything is like downstairs, so they don't even have to go anywhere. Like no friends, no nothing. So that's a different thing. They're not choosing to be by themselves.
They're not choosing to. Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess it means isolation means different things to different people as well. But certainly the holidays is harder. And we kind of touched on this last year, like from the real estate side of it, people are obviously stressed. We have some ones that have not sold their home and need to sell their home, but they're going through some issues as well. So you have that added stress of the holidays. So and we buyers that are still looking for stuff and haven't found things. So there's that added stress as well.
Yeah. Not to mention, we have now shorter days of daylight.
Yeah.
Longer, harsher winters
Yes.
up here. And so that discourages a lot of activities that some people would be really holding on to for their mental well-being. Going golfing, some seniors going for walks. They can't do that. That increases isolation. That's how, mental health challenges exacerbate. And we don't always pay so much attention to that because it's just the emphasis on consumerism and we're supposed to be holly and jolly the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
So those are things to consider about when we're entering the holiday season. What are some adjustments that we're making? Even looking out for our loved ones, how are they adapting to not having certain activities or certain people in their lives that they're regularly connecting with to maintain their well-being?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, the weather thing is, I mean, Vancouver I grew up in too, but it is more depressing now because we get these crazy, what do they call them, atmospheric rivers now, like once a year. And that depresses me because it's like you can't even like go outside, or if you do, you're just gonna like get drenched. I feel like I'm like trapped.
Yeah.
I literally feel like I'm trapped. That last one that we had, was it October? I felt trapped for a couple of days. Like you're almost scared to go outside because it's just like
flooding everywhere.
But I think the darkness.
And the darkness for sure.
Waking up, like leaving home in the morning for some, and it's dark.
Yeah.
And when you're getting home, it's dark. You hear a lot of people talking about that more. And that's one that we face that other parts of Canada does not, because it, like say in Ontario, it's brighter. Even when it snows, it's brighter.
It's brighter, yeah.
So that's a major one. So it's the rain, that
the
can
dark,
be quite depressing, the darkness.
Yeah. So very often I find an increase of clients who have seasonal affective symptomology, increasingly coming to counseling to get support, talking about, they have to increase their vitamin D intake, they have to be more intentional about their schedules because of the challenge that brings to their day-to-day life.
Yeah, I guess that's a big thing, right? You don't think about that's something that does cause an issue for a lot of people, and then getting that vitamin D. Because they say if you get sunlight like first thing in the morning, then that helps your mood. But if you can't get sunlight, then it's like, yeah, and those people that are doing the shift work and stuff, like you say, yeah.
But just in general, though, I mean, like the weather hasn't been amazing recently.
No,
right? So, I mean, it's even when it's bright out, it's not really bright out. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, for example, you were born here, so you're used to it.
How dare you? Yeah, I was.
Okay. But for me, I was okay. Like all the time, I have been here since 2005, and I was okay.
Right.
But this year, I'm like,
yeah.
like
yeah.
I can't. Like this year really took, like how you say, a toll on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been talking about moving, so.
I've actually heard that a lot.
She's like, I'm leaving.
now,
No
yeah.
birth. I'm gonna be no birth.
Well, people too, like, not to get political, but a lot of like clients and friends and stuff looking at potentially moving just because, you know, the government environment too, and it's just getting harder for people.
Yeah.
So I think that with the weather doesn't help. But yeah, that's right for you. I guess that it's tough. If you're coming from a warm climate and then dealing with this, it's tough. So, yeah, it's interesting. So are you, you're seeing more clients with that?
Yeah, like November and December are usually my busiest.
These are your busiest months.
And I think that's across the psychotherapy industry. And one of the points that you made about, you know, if we're immigrants to this country, a lot of us don't have our families here. So we're seeing all these people get together and feeling that grief almost about like missing home, missing family, missing norms. You know, some of us who aren't Christians don't participate in the whole Christmas thing too. There's a lot of intersections that challenge a lot of people's mental well-being and their feeling of inclusion. And, you know, it's fascinating when the topic of loneliness comes up. You don't think about it in so many different contexts, like seniors feeling lonely, not being included in certain things, youth who are so stuck on their phones still do experience loneliness because of the disconnection that's encouraged. And then, you know, even the many immigrant families who don't have the rest of their extended families here don't get to celebrate their cultural norms. And there's so many different nuances to the challenges of mental health during this time of year.
And then, like, typically when people come to see you, is it, well, like, what sort of time frame? I guess it depends for everybody, but does some people, like, pop in, you know, during these times and then you don't see them again, or is it an ongoing?
Some people pop in just for, like, mental health maintenance.
Okay,
like, you know, and I like just to check in. Like, the house isn't burning on fire.
Right.
You know, things are okay, but they're just, like, wary about certain things.
Right.
Whereas others come in for more acute situations.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
I think there's probably another side too. Like, these guys are probably laughing at me now. This year, there just seems to be a lot of grief. A lot of people have lost loved ones.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine, like, this time of the year. As a matter of fact, on Saturday, I was at a funeral, and this family had lost their mom, the mom and the wife, and the two daughters. So you just think of stepping into that right now at this time. It's bad enough that you're dealing with grief. And, for example, it's an Italian family, and a lot of them typically do a Christmas really big, you know. And, do you deal with a lot of people? Are you dealing with a lot of people this
I'm definitely seeing it, you know.
Dealing with the holidays?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a funeral next week with, you know, a family that's close to mine that's lost, you know, the father and daughters lost their dad. And it's very difficult. Like, this is a time where, a lot of those expectations of, like, okay, like, you know, we're supposed to be getting presents for everybody and sharing everyone gifts, and everyone's supposed to be happy. And that's not the reality for everybody around us. Yeah. And it even brings back memories for some of us who've lost family members already. It could be understandably a difficult time of the year to just kind of put on a happy face. That adds additional pressure to some of us who have even mild anxiety, mild depressive symptoms. That could be even that additional pressure to, like, be all happy and present like you're all joyful 24/7. So I think there's a lot of different things that some of us have to reconsider when we enter the holiday season to be the best versions of ourselves.
What are things that we can do that you would suggest from us as a group to support people who are going through this time at Christmas? Like, I know for me, like I was saying, there's going to be more people in the house this year. There's additional people. Where I'm going to put them, I'm not 100% sure, on Christmas Day. But I truly believe the holidays is a time when, especially people who don't have family close by, like if I have to squeeze another chair in, just to have someone be around other people.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. But what are things that...
Are you asking like in general? Because I think for me, a PS5 would make me feel a lot better if that's something.
Oh, yeah. We were thinking about it.
Are we going like GIF? Or just like,
3D version.
3D version.
Doesn't that increase your isolation?
That does. Oh, sorry, never mind. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, interesting. Well, the other thing is like you touched on funerals because it's unfortunate, and you've had
too many
this year. But I feel like, unfortunately, like all of us here are probably at that age now. We're going to more funerals than like weddings. There was at one point in our lives, and I think like, in your 20s or early 30s, it was like a wedding every other month. Yeah. And now all I hear is like funerals. So you're just like, or we're at that thing, right? So we're at that age. Unfortunately, that's the reality, and it's kind of sad. So, and then so what are you guys doing for Christmas stuff? So you're saying you're having the big dinner. We're waiting for the invite.
You're grieving.
Doing
the big dinner, and that means my immediate family plus my extended family, and then there are just other families who don't have families here, and so we're open to so we're probably up to about 30 this year, Bernard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was just watching this Abbott Elementary episode last night, and one of the teachers has an Italian teacher, a very proud woman, so much pressure on herself to cook this meal for her family, to impress everybody and her family all the time. They're so judgmental. And for some of us who just host a big party, I think it's like, what are the expectations we're putting on ourselves for connection? And is it a chosen family situation? Because I like that idea. Some of us don't have family members, so I think the idea of like chosen family is a really cool concept.
Right.
And I do like how, whether you know it or not, you encouraging everybody, hey, here's a list. What are we bringing? What are you bringing? What are you bringing? I like that because it takes a lot of pressure on you to have to do everything and take care of all 30 people. Some people will gladly take advantage of that.
The list is coming on Thursday. Don't worry about it.
Okay, there we go.
The list will be out on Thursday, and that's what we do. Like, everybody participates because it is a big responsibility. And like you said, haven't even thought about it that way. But yes, that person, for example, who's hosting, that can be a major stress factor. So rather than being excited about Christmas, you become afraid and nervous. But what we do is there's a list, and we don't say you bring this. We give you, choices. Do you want to bring a dessert? You've got choices. Do something that you love to do in an area. Pick what you want to do. So, but we can still get together and have a fun time and not feel so. I mean, the cleanup afterwards, everybody seems to leave before the cleanup. Everybody but we had that down pat last year too. There's a cleanup crew. Okay. Yeah. So there are things you can do that rather than taking on all this stress. And I think your family will understand that.
Right.
You can share the fun and you can share the responsibilities.
You've streamlined the process, I guess, but you're telling me that you don't enjoy slaving over a 10-course meal for your family for 30 people?
No. No. It's that would take me a week, but so for this year, for example, I think we're doing most of the proteins, and everybody else will bring all the other sides.
That's the way to do it,
right? And so it's if I have to stay up, trust me, I've done it. If I have to stay up all night on Christmas Eve, I do it. Boxing Day, don't talk to me. I'm resting. And I clean up afterwards before I go to bed. Yeah. So, but there are different things I think we can do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So I guess, what are some, maybe, we touched on this last year, but a refresher, like coping mechanisms for people, going through depression or finding a hard time during the holidays? What are some things that you suggest?
I explore like, how do you set boundaries during the holidays around like even like gift giving?
Right. Yeah, that's a big
because we're so encouraged to buy and even amidst the inflation circumstances that a lot of us are feeling, like amidst the $1,600 Taylor Swift tickets that we're encouraged to be buying. I think it's important to like I don't know, just walk outside the norm and you and your family decide like, here's our gift giving situation. This is what we're doing. Maybe we're gifting each other presents, not presents.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
I heard that the other day, and I really like the emphasis on spending time, encouraging your young ones to like disconnect more and spend more time together.
Yeah.
We're playing board games, we're having conversations, just looking to change the narrative that too many of us can get swept away with really easily.
That's interesting. I know because, my wife's family is pretty big. And so like my kids, she always asks them, what they want because this aunt from this aunt. And it's just, it gets to be too much because it's almost like you open something and then like a week later it's in the corner. So to me, on that too, I'm kind of like, they don't need it, man. Like a charity or something else. And like you say, like, why are we just buying stuff to buy stuff? Because it's almost like trying to force them to think of something to get a gift that they don't need, So it's like, let's just like what they need, get it, whatever, and then just kind of enjoy the holidays. So that stuff always stresses me out too, because then the other side, then we're looking for cousins and all that stuff, which is fine as like the giving, but at the same time it's like none of these guys are need it. So I feel like we're just spending money to spend money, So that's why every year in my calendar I put like July, book a trip for Christmas. Like it pops up. And then because it's been slower the last 3 or 4 months, I'm like, I shouldn't do it. Like, but I'm like, then I always regret it because I'm like, it's almost easier just to go away sometimes, spend time with our immediate family. Because the other side of it too, like with us, and Wayne probably sees it, it's like you have those 2 weeks off with the kids and it's like Groundhog Day. I don't know if it's like Thursday, Wednesday, Monday. Everybody's in their pajamas, right? And you're just like, and you feel like, I feel worse about myself because I'm literally like, what have I done? Like I haven't got dressed. My kids aren't dressed. I don't know what's happening. And so that.
But are you happy during those times, except for you thinking about?
I'm not like because I feel like
you're breaking routine. Though.
Yeah, breaking routine and just not doing anything. I feel more anxious about that. Whereas not like you have to be super busy each day, but at least if we have we're going to the Christmas market this day or we're going to this one. But a lot of times we don't have anything really planned past the Christmas dinners, and then it's just, and that's what happened last year. Just my kids on Fortnite, and my daughter's listening to K-pop or whatever, and it's then at 7 o'clock. Like, did you eat anything? Like you just it's just like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything, and they didn't do anything. So, and that was part of like when you're a kid. I love that because when you're a kid, I'm like, oh, these 2 weeks seem like they last forever. You meet up with your friends, don't do anything. I loved it. I look forward to it. But now on the parent side, I'm like, I'm stressed out, man.
So Bernard, should that be a stressor? Really, should that be a stressor?
There's actually a lot of individuals and families bucking the norm and getting away.
Yeah,
a lot, because removing yourself from the stress and looking at it as like, this is a time for me to rejuvenate the holidays. Right. So why don't we go on a trip? Or even some people are like, I'm not participating in traditional family norms.
Right.
I'm going to be maybe a pariah, but I'm prioritizing myself.
Right.
I'm going to go rent an Airbnb and go do something for myself during the holidays. It's not for everybody, but for a lot of people, it's like actually one of the best things you can do for yourself, just knowing how much stress you've been going through leading up towards the end of the year, and just like doing something for yourself.
I'm looking forward to the 26th because my plan this year is do nothing during that week between Christmas and New Year's. What you're sort of saying is a stressor for you. I'm like, I can't wait. I can
but Ryan has little kids. Ryan has little kids. That's the difference. Me too. I'm having Christmas with my kids, and then New Year's, bye-bye, we're gone.
Yeah.
But my kids are grown up, right? So New Year's, they don't want me around. They're going to go to the party.
Yes, of course. Yes. But I think here's the other side. And this is, for some, this is yes, and for others, this is no. And I think the focus of what is the reason for the season. So for those who are Christians, what's the reason for the season?
Yeah.
And for people who are not Christians but still celebrate Christmas, doing different things, where's the focus? What is the reason?
Yeah.
For some people, it's relaxing. For those who are Christians, it's about celebrating, quote unquote, birthday. But what is the reason? Then the actual, now we're so wrapped up into buying the gifts, doing this, doing that. It's become so commercialized.
And that's the thing,
and
right?
that's the stress.
Because of the commercialization of Christmas, Christmas is no longer just that day. No. It's the season, and it's the whole month. And you're doing so much during the whole month, and then when you finally take that lull, it's kind of like it hits you all at once that, you've gone from doing so much to doing nothing, then what do you do?
Yeah.
Right? So.
And for everybody, not only for your family. There is people that like goes like far, like and gifting everybody, right?
Yes.
So that puts a lot of stress too, because then January comes and you have to pay for all those gifts that you.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Right?
It's the stress of the bills, because every other day I see my credit card and it's like something's bought for so and so, because I don't even see half the stuff. My wife just buys it for other people, and I'm like,
Oops.
what's is this? You can't budget properly, right? And they're just like, oh man. So that's why I'm putting in my calendar and I'm going to commit to it next year. We're away somewhere.
Yeah.
Not that you can't celebrate Christmas, but we're away.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I guess like you say, it's interesting because for you guys, it's like that relaxing week off, but for us, for me, it's like we have to plan stuff properly. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But this Christmas, I say no gifts. Like this Christmas is gonna be about being with each other. No gifts. Like I don't want any gifts, and I'm not giving any gifts.
Oh, did you see how she slide that in? She's talking to us. Eh? She's talking to us.
Are you saying...
We're expecting the regular gift.
Is my present. That's my present.
Presents, not presents. So that's powerful.
Well, you know too, like you get those sort of one-off too, like someone that you weren't expecting to get a gift, you get a gift, and you're like,
Nothing kicks in.
Let me just. Is that necessary?
I guess you're right, but it's how it's kind of just how it
culture
it's programmed. Yeah,
that's what we got to fight against. Like that,
we got to fight against.
That's why I think there's so many challenges, because there's these forces.
Yes.
Right. Guilt.
Yeah, it's guilt. It's a guilt.
I got to do this for that person. What's that going to make me look like? And these are games that like we are like they're created in our heads. Like we really have to kind of take a step back and like, why do I have to follow this?
Yeah, that's true. And if someone gives you something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to back. You can just sort of thank you, right? But I feel that, and I'm like, I got to get them something now, or.
So you get it for them at Easter.
Yeah, it doesn't feel the same. But
Yeah.
So it's interesting though. So it's interesting.
Yeah, people buy. I think people buy gifts out of anxiety, and obligation, and that's what drives their behavior, and then that creates a domino effect for a lot of us that we have to like sometimes be conscious of. Like, I have a friend, and I love this friend, and she's gonna go above and beyond no matter what boundaries we set. Like, we're not giving gifts. She's gonna go ahead and buy gifts. That's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm making my choice. That doesn't characterize me as a bad person.
Right.
Right. And we have to. I have to rehearse that sometimes.
Right.
Because I just know, like, she's coming over. She's gonna be bringing gifts, and we told her already.
Yeah.
Just say thank you.
Yeah, and that's out of my control. It's out of my control. Like I've set the boundary.
Yeah.
There,
that's good too.
And that's out of my control. So I take a step back, because there's a variety of different norms.
Yeah.
That overwhelm us. Like, I don't want to go too far. But, on one end, there's the gift-giving one. And there's also this alcohol consumption social norm that happens. And I know we're just out of November.
Yeah.
But, it's especially important to talk about that, because a lot of us, especially men, hide our stuff behind, let's go for beer. Let's go for a drink. And I love a good cocktail all the time. But it's about recognizing, like, how often are we using this and not actually connecting deeply and like checking in with one another.
Yeah, the alcohol one is for sure, because I know from our end too, like we have a bunch of, I've had client stuff. I've already had like 2 or 3 friends ones. It's hard not to drink. And I had a client one a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't drank much for a while. And then I had like 4 old fashions. I could barely like walk around downtown, and he's just like pounding them back, and I'm like, I'm fine. But I had to walk around for like half an hour even to like call an Uber, because I'm just like, I don't feel super steady. And I don't know if that's like pressure per se, but it's just like you get in that environment, and your friends are drinking, or the person that you're with is drinking, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, I'll have some, and then before you know it, it's too many.
Yeah. So you got to watch out for those.
You got to watch out for sure. I think that's another.
In our younger years, that used to be fun.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
No, they're recovering now, right?
Yeah,
they're recovering. Like the next day, I'm just like, oh, I feel gross, right? So yeah.
But overall, I think Bernard's right. It puts a toll on your mental health as well. If you constantly use alcohol as a crutch, right? It's a social mechanism to, I guess, I wouldn't say deal with friends, but just to hang out. It's very acceptable to have it around, but what's too much, right?
Yeah.
And that it ties in with boundaries too, I guess, Bernard, right? No is no. Like I have friends who, they love drinking. And it's like, one of these days, at my age, you're not going to change me now. That's it. Just like some people, their age, you can't change them from not drinking too much. I know I have my 1 or my 2, and that's it. And I'm done. I don't care what you say. But the influence and the peer pressure.
Yeah, you got to kind of read the thing. I mean, if it's an open bar at your Christmas party, obviously you take advantage of it. But so I got.
Did I hear our Christmas party? Team party, open bar.
We're bringing our own liquor, but again, that's up to you what you're comfortable with. Yeah, it's a Chinese restaurant. They let you bring your own liquor in. Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of weird too, because it's like, how do they monitor it if you're like driving after? That's a whole other thing.
It's not their problem.
Things that make you go.
I was just at the new Mandarin when they pull you over. Shout out. Yeah.
No, you will be taking an Uber.
I take an Uber.
Like you usually do.
Yeah, dude. I actually, that's one good thing. I do Ubers when I meet with people.
That brings up like the one of the biggest things I think across any platform you'll see when it comes to holidays and mental health. Saying no.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a polite way to say no. There's a polite way to set your boundaries. And a lot of us feel that pressure. Oh man, like my social battery is going to be drained going to this Christmas party or going to my partner's Christmas party. Like, how do I set certain limits and say, maybe I'm going to come late, leave early or whatever. I think it's like we got to give ourselves permission to like take care of ourselves and try to prioritize rejuvenation. We talked about it.
Yeah.
About, wanting to get away during the holidays. And that makes sense because of all the pressure that's placed. And for some of us, we have to find different ways to like learn how to like say no and be able to like honor what we need at the time. And, just take care of ourselves so we get back to the new year or later on after the holidays in like a good place rather than depleted.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's solid advice.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything you guys wanted to add?
Hopefully you take.
Sorry? Yeah, well, for me to take, I'm going to book a last-minute trip to New Jersey or whatever's on sale. Oh, New Jersey.
Brian will go to Tijuana for the next. That's it.
Tijuana.
Tijuana. He's been there before.
I did go to Tijuana. Let's not talk about that in this podcast. That's a longer episode. Yeah. Hong Kong bar is a restaurant. No. Okay, so anything else you guys wanted to add on that? No, I think it's good just to kind of, thanks for coming on. We just wanted to do sort of a quick chat to kind of reinforce what we talked about last year, refresh that, and I think that's a good start.
Well, I think it's different. It's more difficult for youth, I think. I see my kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes they feel that pressure more than me because with age, it comes also the certainty of saying like, this is who I am. If you like me, it's okay. If you don't like me, it's okay. But kids most likely are like, oh no, I have to give a gift to this person or to this person, and sadly, that takes a lot of pressure from them, and then they think if they don't do it, something bad will happen, right? So I think for youth it's more difficult, and maybe we have to encourage that in your kids that are little, so when they grow, they know that should not be a pressure. You should do what you want as long as you're not affecting anybody, right? And if you say no, like Bernard says, like in a polite way, there's a polite way to say no, and that's it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, one thing with that, I don't see it so much with my kids, but like when we were younger and your friends would get like the Nintendo or whatever. Like I remember one year I really wanted like the Nintendo when it came out with Double Dragon, and I was super excited, but I got a Sega. And I was kind of upset because I'm like, what's a Sega?
Ungrateful.
I was ungrateful, but then it's still like, oh, my parents went out and bought this, and it was cool. But I was like, just looking for the Nintendo. All my friends that year got the Nintendo. Like.
But they're teaching.
So nobody wanted to go to Ryan's house.
So nobody wanted to go to my house basically because I had like Safari Hunt, and they had like Double Dragon. I'm like, well, cool guys, I have a Sega if you want to come over play a little Wonder Boy. Anywho, I mean,
I like that challenging, because these are first world problems.
They are first world problems, for sure, in the scheme of things.
Yes.
I felt it too, and I constantly think that so many of us who don't get perspective outside of North America take a minute and check out and see how Canada has higher rates of mental health challenges during the holidays than a lot of other countries around. Why? There's certain norms that we don't start to challenge from a young age within our households and our communities. That's why some of the children are expecting, they'll go all the way and be like, where's my present? Hey, where's my gift? Like, because of the norms that are set around us. So I like the idea of like challenging that as early as we can, setting like some different like norms in our households.
So it's not just about Christmas; it's your everyday life,
Everything.
of the norms and the boundaries that you set with your kids, and the conversations you have with them,
and expectations,
in regards to expectations, for sure. I was with someone yesterday. I met this young lady for lunch, and her mom has passed, and she was talking, and she was like, all the things that my mom used to do for us as a teenager, we didn't appreciate it. She would hold down 2 jobs. She would buy us the Jordan jeans because everybody else had it. And she said, you know what? All those things my mom did, we didn't appreciate it then.
At the time.
And I think a lot of it is because we don't have those conversations with our children. And so I think that's probably a point of having a conversation. My young adult is coming home from school, and she's like, nobody's getting gifts this year because I'm a poor student. So, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you have to start with the kids when they're young.
Yeah.
In understanding those things.
Expectations. Yeah, I noticed too, kind of on that topic, every time I go out with Elijah, even yesterday, he expects to get like a snack or a treat. And I don't know where that came from because a couple of times I've done it. But even yesterday, we went down to the Safeway to get the inspector a gift card. And he's like, oh, how come we're not getting me, like, can we go to Starbucks? I'm like, where did this come from? He expects it. I'm like, it's a 2-minute drive. Like, I'm not like just paying you off because you came with me in a car. And then I tried to explain to him yesterday. He's like, oh, so we're not getting anything? I'm like, no. Like, do you need something for this? Like, it's crazy. And then he'll often say, and my daughter's not really like that, but he'll often say, like, if I'm like, oh, can you come with me, go for a walk here or that? He's like, well, were we getting something? I'm like, well, no, I just need you to. And I don't remember doing that with my parents. I mean, the whole Sega thing, that's what. But I don't remember like asking for stuff every time we went out. Like I wouldn't say to them. I would feel like they'd yell at me if I'd be like, "Oh, can you buy me this from the coffee shop?" Or
it's that dopamine hit. Right?
Yeah. It's that dopamine hit. Yeah. So it's interesting.
So maybe Bernard needs to come back to talk about setting boundaries for your children during the year.
I think Ryan needs to send Eli to.
I need to send Eli to you. Probably.
I fall victim of the same thing with my 3-year-old. Right, he has the same expectations, and I think we just are so encouraged to move so fast.
Right.
With our families, we're trying to fit so much into our schedules. Yes. I find myself like definitely like, I'll give you a fruit bar if you come with me to go pick up your sister. And I've set this conversation with him, and that's where it is. And trying to challenge that and give myself more time and take things off my plate, which is difficult to do. But I think it's important that we recognize like the problems that we create sometimes, that we can take a step back and try to put a lot of more effort to change and create healthier relationships.
Yeah, no, that's smart.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anything else you guys wanted to add? No, I think that's good information. Thanks for coming on again. We appreciate it. And how can people reach you?
People can find me just Google me on my website, BKPCounselling. They can find me on Instagram. They can find me on LinkedIn. They can reach out to me there and on behalf of themselves or even family members who might be interested in connecting and getting some support. I offer 15-minute consultations that are free just to demystify the whole experience, because I know there's a lot of stigma when it comes to therapy and what it means. And I like to just look at it as just having a conversation, the way that we're having a conversation.
That would be good. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Yeah. And then, like, market-wise, what are you guys seeing?
We're going straight in the market right now? Okay.
We're going straight in the market. I'm just curious.
I mean, November sales were up 25% from last year.
Doesn't feel like it, though.
But it's still, I think, about 10% below the 10-year average. Mm-hmm. So it's not the best market still. And on an anecdotal level, we're not busy pretty much at all. Yeah. We've got some clients that are still looking, but listings overall aren't moving unless they're really willing to take big cuts to their prices. Yeah, I mean, in some situations that we have as well, some listings are just moving because, sellers have their own personal reason. But that being said, the outlook is okay. It looks like we're experiencing another rate cut right now in December.
This week, right?
Yeah. So it's either a lot of people are saying it might be a 0.5 point cut because the unemployment is so high, but then that also means that affordability is at an all-time low as well, because a lot of people have lost their jobs.
Yeah, people get laid off. I have some clients just recently too. It's kind of scary. I have some clients that got laid off recently, and then they have to complete on like a pre-sale in the new year. So it's
I think unemployment's over 6.5% right now, which is like the highest it's been since 2017.
Wow.
So yeah, not the greatest.
Crazy. Well, on a positive note, what's everybody's sort of plans for Christmas, or do you have like a Christmas tradition that you look forward to? Let's go Veronica first.
This year,
you look excited. You want to,
I'm having Christmas with my kids.
Nice.
And with another couple of friends. And then New Year's, we are out.
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
We're just going to go to Bellingham, but
Nice.
Still, that's
something, right? Different, because my kids are not going to be with us. But we have a lot of traditions, like in Mexico, like you don't have dinner until midnight, like you do, because we're Catholic. We put like the Christ on.
That's on Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah. So gifts, there are gifts, but not that many. Like we're not like that big in gifts because Santa comes and everything. And then New Year's, we have a lot of things that is like outside of religion. It's not like, but you like ring a bell, you throw water so the bad energy goes. You go out with your suitcase, and you have to go all the way to the corner of your house, like outside to the block.
So do you really do this?
Yeah, that means you're gonna have vacation all year long, and then you sweep money in. So there's a lot.
But you'll be in Bellingham.
Well,
we'll
do it at the hotel.
Just throw your ice bucket in the hallway or whatever.
And in Mexico, you can see everybody doing the same, right? Wow. Here, every time that I do, they say like, oh, there goes the crazy Mexican again.
And in Bellingham, they're keeping your damage deposit. So
probably. That's good though. That's good.
So, but it's fun. It's really fun.
That is fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about Diana?
What am I doing? Oh, well, like I said, I truly believe Christmas is a time to share with family and friends. Yeah. And so over the years, the last few years we've been hosting. I used to switch off with my cousin, but, and so we're probably up to about 30 people this year. But we do share. We do share the responsibility. I will host. Yeah. And then all the other families will all bring something and add to the meal. And it's a good blend. So we have Canadian, Caribbean, Polish. So we have a good blend in terms of the meal. So that's kind of fun. And in terms of gifts, my husband has already said it's a $50 max this year.
That's good. Yeah, that's smart.
We'll see if he could stick to
$50 for you.
But we're just looking that we're not. Of course, we'll exchange gifts, but we're going to try and keep it down this year, right? Yeah. And then I'm looking forward to between the 26th and the 1st just to chill out.
Right.
Can invite people over for a drink or something in between, but just to relax. I'm not going to be like Ryan. I'll be keeping my pajamas on a lot during that period.
We can go in our pajamas too.
Sure.
What day is the drinking pajama party?
Have, some light stuff. And New Year's Eve, typically what we do, there's a group of friends, we'll get together. Somebody host, and we'll either go out for dinner first, and then go to one of the homes, or we do a potluck or something like that. So, and the daughter will be coming home from school because this is different for us this year. Not that she won't have her own plans, but spending some time together doing things with her because she's not living at home anymore for now. That'll be us.
Nice. Wainers.
Oh, and we have New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. You cannot be asleep at midnight.
Yeah, no.
You cannot.
Because if you are, you'll be sleeping your life away for the next year. So we have to be up. Okay. Even if you go to sleep before midnight, you got to get up. So
midnight we have to have grapes. So 12 grapes each second, and it has to be a wish.
Oh.
So you give grapes to everybody.
12 grapes.
12 grapes.
A second.
Never heard that.
No, one grape a second for the last 12 seconds.
Oh,
you got
And then
a
each
countdown.
one
You guys eat grapes. You shove your mouth full of grapes.
But if you choke, then you're sort of like, what is that?
Then you don't have grapes.
You're like,
that's a different omen.
That's a different. Wow.
There you go.
I never heard that before. The grape one. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
I get to spend Christmas with my cousins this year. We're doing a joint Christmas thing together. So like 4 families.
Wow.
Yeah. So we haven't done that since I was in my 20s. So probably 20 years.
Nice.
Yeah, usually we just keep it small. We keep it to ourselves. But this year we're doing it all together. So
that's nice.
Yeah. And for gifts, Black Friday, Daddy got himself a 65-inch OLED TV, so naturally got himself a PlayStation as well.
Oh, there you go.
So I got the PlayStation 5 you wanted.
I gotta come over.
That's what I'm going to be doing after Christmas to New Year's.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome to come over.
What
You're
game?
not invited.
What games did you get? I'm in. Oh my gosh, I'm in. Nice, that's cool. Yeah, me, I similar. So we usually do, like, Dee's family is pretty big, so we go to Richmond on Christmas Day typically, and then my mom and brother's family, we go out there, West Van, usually on Christmas Eve. So yeah, it's pretty, well, my mom's one is pretty low key. The other one is big. It's probably like 50, 60 people. So maybe similar to
nice.
So bad.
similar to Wayne's. So that one, there's a lot, but
At your house?
No. It's usually well, we can't now because we're doing the renovation part of the solarium, so we couldn't host anyways legitimately. But yeah, we're going to one of those. Usually her cousin's house. Yeah, so I mean it'll be good. I think after that, yeah, just looking forward to kind of like you said, kind of relaxing a bit and then just focusing on what to do for next year. Trying to keep my kids busy.
Yeah,
that's well, yeah, I think from all of us at RW, hope everybody has a happy holidays and
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, yeah.
And have fun.
That's it.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive, yeah. Thank you.